Going from there. Oh, Cameron, was my door unlocked?
No, I just opened it.
Oh, okay. Thank you. I just thought it was. Okay. All right. All right. Cameron, did you have a pass or no? Okay, thank you. All right. Oh, stupid thing. All right. All right. Skylar. All right. Skylar, no. Estefani got you. Albert got you. Ray got you. Karina, I thought I saw you. Yep. Okay. Giselle, Shining, Adriana, Finley, yes. Evelyn, yes. Cameron, yes. Abigail, yes. Itzel, yes. Elsa, yes. Alicio, I saw him coming. Thank you. Aiden, Jules. All right. Theodore. Oh, all right. Kevin, we got Sam, we got Zach, we got. All right. So, 20.
Well, they're all like so the creator doesn't like
Don't touch it.
You're on the wrong side of the farm.
Oh my god.
I watched like
Skylar. Not here. All right. Theodore. Oh my God, Theodore. I'm sorry. I'm missing you. You're sitting right in front of me. Okay. All right. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, before we get going today, before we talk about our question of the day, I just wanted to let you know. Yes, Cameron. Try plugging it into a different one, and if not, bring it up here, and I'll try giving you a different cord. Okay?
Yeah, I think it's the cord issue.
You think it's the cord issue?
Yeah.
That's your professional opinion, Jules?
Yes, because I've dealt with enough charging cords in my life. This charging cord is not going to work.
Dealt with enough charging cords in your life.
Yes.
So if it doesn't work, come and switch it with this one. Okay.
I'm right.
Well, of course you're right, Jules. I've never known you to be wrong.
I'm not wrong.
Try that. Okay. All right. As I was saying, ladies and gentlemen, I just want to let you know. This morning, I upgraded all of your grades in Infinite Campus, which means I put in your lab safety quiz, which means I put in the precision lab that we did yesterday. Now, if you did not turn in that lab, I cannot put a grade in for you because I can't grade it unless you turn it in. So you literally have to go back into Canvas and you have to submit the assignment. And after the one screen where you find the assignment, there will be a blue submit or turn in button. It'll take you to another screen, which gives you one more chance to submit it. If you don't do those 2 steps, I do not get it, I can't see it, I can't grade it. Okay? So, with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, if you did not turn it in yesterday, this will be the one lab that I will give you a grace period on of being able to turn it in today and it will still not be late. Okay? Now, my rule on labs is this. If you turn them in on time, you earn the ability to earn bonus grade of an A or a B. If you do not turn it in on time, the best you can do on it is a C. So I am extending it to today so that you could still earn an A or a B on it if you can get it done and get it turned in. You should be able to. Yesterday at the end of, or when I gave you 15 minutes to work on it, nobody went back and worked on it. Now, number 2, the safety quiz that you did, ladies and gentlemen. You had to get 100% on it, and most of you did. There are a few people who turned it in and it was 14 out of 15. If that is the case, you need to go back into the lab safety quiz. It should pick up on the last time you took it because I left it as unlimited attempts. You should be able to go in and find the one you got wrong, correct it, and turn it in. Now, again, this is my first year using Canvas. So that is what I am hoping will happen. I don't know if that is what will happen. So if you happen to be one of those people who got a 14 out of 15 on the safety quiz, and you try to go back into it and it will not let you into your quiz, you need to let me know because then I have to try to fix something. Okay? I think it should, but I'm not 100% sure. Okay? Questions on any of that? By the way, I don't know if you can see it in Canvas, but Canvas does keep track of grades as well. I don't know if you guys can see that or not. You can?
Yeah, there's like a grid section.
Okay, don't look at it in Canvas.
Oh, hello.
Because, to be honest, anything that goes into Canvas that I want graded, it shifts automatically to Infinite Campus. So therefore, Infinite Campus is still the place you go to check your grade. That is the official spot where you will find your grade for the class. Okay? So you can go to that and you can look at it. All right? All right. Quiz tomorrow, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, Jules? The quiz is 15 questions. There are 11 that are multiple choice, and then there are 4 that you have to provide your own answer for. One of them you will be asked to convert from one metric unit to another. And I will give you the steps that you need to make that conversion. So if I ask you to go from kilometers to hectometers, I will tell you that 1,000 meters equals 1 kilometer, 100 meters equals 1 hectometer. I would expect you to be able to use those to transfer just like you did in the worksheet that we did. Okay? There is a question about precision. There is a question about accuracy. Okay? And then the last question, ladies and gentlemen, is about the 3 things shown in any measurement. That is what your quiz is on tomorrow. Questions? Please remember, you can use your periodic table. Now, on your periodic table, there is no reason for you to write down metric conversion. To write down that 1,000 millimeters equals 1 meter. I will give those to you. But if you want to put a sample problem of how to convert from one unit to another in the metric system, you are welcome to do that. Your choice completely. Okay? Questions? All right. So our question of the day. What's the world's worst superpower that you could have?
Probably mind reading.
Mind reading?
Yeah.
Okay. So you wouldn't want to be able to know what other people are thinking about you?
Probably not.
Okay. Somebody earlier, I did this question yesterday with a different class, and they said mind reading but not being able to turn it off. So could you imagine being in a room, crowded room or someplace with a lot of people and you're just being flooded with everybody's thoughts? Okay, I could agree with that. What else would be a terrible superpower to have?
Only being able to smell bad smells.
See, mine was just simply having the superpower of incredibly strong sense of smell.
That's weird.
That would be a bad superpower to me. But again, only being able to smell really bad things, yeah, that would be a bad superpower. That would be a bad superpower.
Hello.
You can teleport to a random place on the earth. You have no control over it.
Okay, you could tell. I'm sorry, I cut you off.
On a Tuesday night.
On a Tuesday night, okay. So on a Tuesday night, you could teleport anywhere in the world you wanted to, but you couldn't control where you were going. That'd be a pretty crappy superpower.
Being Santa.
What?
Being Santa.
Being Santa. Can you explain
Well,
that to me?
You know, like what Santa does.
Are you kidding? The guy works one day of the year.
I know, but like think about
One
all the houses he
day!
has to go to. And like, no. Actually, being Santa's out because they don't get all the credit. Santa literally delivers the present and takes all the credit for it. Like those elves make those presents. That's literally slavery.
Ooh, let's not go there. Let's not go there. We don't know what the payment arrangement is at the
I don't
North
think there's
Pole.
any. Yeah, the payments and cookies.
Okay?
And
When you were a
candies.
kid, you'd have loved that payment method.
They're not kids though.
Okay?
They're
How do you know
adults.
how old
just
they are?
Short.
They're short adults. Okay, well, maybe short adults like cookies.
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead. Next. Someone get us away from Jules' Santa theory.
I think flying too. It's kind of stupid.
Why?
Because flying is so basic.
That is the one superpower I would love.
Why?
Why? Because I hate heights.
Okay.
So if you hate heights, the part that scares me about heights is not the heights.
What is it?
Falling from that height. And if you can fly, you never have to worry about falling again.
Just don't fall.
Again, Jules, thanks for simplifying the world for us. Okay?
I know.
Santa has labor law violations, and don't fall if you're up high, people. Okay? The world is simple.
It is.
Anything else? No other terrible superpowers?
I feel like invisibility might suck sometimes.
We had one person who said you have the power of invisibility, but you only have it when your eyes are closed. I don't know what that has to do with it, but that wouldn't be a good thing. What?
You can't see.
No one could see you, but then you can't
Okay,
see.
so like, say like you're crossing the street and you're invisible. You're gonna get hit by a car because nobody's gonna see you.
Well, that's the point of being invisible, Jules. Is no one. How do you know there's not someone invisible crossing the street every day when you go by?
Here's the thing. So I watched this show Supernatural. There's an episode where like there's a wishing well, like people can like wish whatever they want.
Okay.
So this guy, he wished to be invisible, but there was like a twist. When he was invisible, he could only be naked. So like,
Well, I've always thought that about invisibility. Why is it just because you can be invisible should your clothes be invisible? Right?
Yeah.
The same way, Superman. I mean, he can stop bullets, but what kind of material is his suit made out of that it can stop bullets too?
Titanium.
Titanium. Okay. Titanium's not very flexible, by the way.
Oh, I don't know.
Okay.
I just
He's
thought-
not Iron Man and Superman. I mean, anyway. Okay. That was just a good question, though. Okay. Good question, though. Why is it when people are invisible, they can be invisible even though, and make their clothes invisible?
I
Okay.
also feel like turning into bugs.
Turning into bugs.
Yes. You know, like in like Moana, like Maui has like his hook and like he can turn into like any animal or
Wait,
stuff.
wait, go back a minute.
What?
No.
What?
Never seen the movie.
Okay.
Okay, but okay.
Well, he had
He
a
could
special
turn
hook
into.
and like he could turn into like bugs and like animals and stuff.
Why would you want to be a bug?
He turned into a beetle.
Okay.
I feel like turning into bugs is stupid. Cause like especially like if you're like a little bug, People aren't gonna see you're gonna get stepped on.
Yeah, but like, what if you were trying to hide from somebody and you just become a bug?
Just go with invisibility,
Yeah,
then that's
just go with
easier.
invisibility.
Well, if you're a bug, then you're small and
Now I can watch him like comment on people's conversations. I'm literally a bug on the wall. Like,
Okay, that is true. There are times where I would have loved to have been a fly on the wall. So, any others? Bad superpowers?
You're always levitating 2 feet off the ground.
Always levitating 2 feet off the ground. Okay. Can't really go anywhere, but you can just be 2 feet off the ground. Okay. Okay. All right, ladies and gentlemen, today we are going
What
to.
do you think the worst superpower
I
is?
told you, incredible sense of smell.
I've never heard of anyone having it.
What superpower have you heard of people having, Jules? I'm just wondering.
Well, you know, like Elastigirl, like she could like stretch. I feel like that one's kind of stupid too, because like, why are you stretching? Mr. Incredible, he was really strong. And then their kids. What was the girl? What did she have?
she had a
Invisibility
force
and force fields.
Oh yeah,
And by the way, they're making a third one of those.
I know. I saw that. The second one was really good. I mean, the other boy, he had super speed, and then the other one was just like a Jack in the Box. Yeah,
Yep.
because his name was Jack Jack. Yeah, he just had like every power under the sun. So I feel like, yeah, I've never really heard of any bad stuff.
Well, why would you give your character a bad superpower if you're making a superhero movie?
Correct. Why would you give them a bad superpower? All right, ladies and gentlemen. So,
Bad superpower.
what we're heading into is our last part of the unit here, ladies and gentlemen. Why are you groaning about that?
Who did that?
You?
That wasn't me, Andrew.
Cameron, did you hear the beeping? That was the bus that Jules was backing up over you as she was running you over, just so you know. Okay. So anyway, so the last thing that we are going to talk about in this unit, or one of the last things that we're going to talk about in this unit, is we're going to go back to what we did earlier. We're going to go back to that unit cancellation that we did with metric system, but now we're going to apply it to other problems. Okay? Now, what we are going to do is we're going to kind of lay the basics for what we're going to be doing later on in the year. Later on in the year, we are going to be doing all kinds of conversions using the mole and how the mole is basically a central unit in chemistry. You can relate a lot of different things to the moles. But the problems that we're going to solve in the end of the year are all what are called unit cancellation problems. So what we're going to do is we're going to practice that. So here's where I'm at, ladies and gentlemen. You can keep that out. But I'm going into my EISN into slide number 77. In your EISN, it will be slide number 70. Okay? So that is where we are at. All right. So we are going to solve problems, story problems that we are going to read. The story problems are going to ask us to convert from one unit to another somehow. Now, some of the problems you may know conversions for. Okay? How many seconds in a minute?
60.
60. How many minutes in an hour? 60. How many hours in a day? So you may know certain conversions. Okay? How many inches in a mile? Good. I'm glad nobody knows that because I don't even know that. Okay? But there are conversions we could use to get from inches to miles. We could go inches to feet, feet to miles. Okay? So some conversions I do expect you to know. I expect you to know how many seconds are in a minute, how many minutes are in an hour. Now, if you get on a test and you do not know and you want a question and ask Mr. Brand how many seconds are in a minute, I will tell you. Okay? But I'm probably not going to write it into the problem for you. Okay? First thing you need to do is you need to read through your problem completely. Now, most problems, either right at the beginning or right at the end, are going to tell you what you are trying to find. Okay? So they will tell you right at the beginning or right at the end. You need to ask yourself, what is the problem asking you to find? What unit are you ultimately trying to get to in the problem? Okay? Because we're going to do unit cancellation problem solving, what unit are you ultimately trying to find? Final answer, final unit, what is it looking for? What are you beginning with? So, for example, a problem may tell you to convert 5 days into seconds. So, ultimately, you're trying to find seconds. What are you beginning with? 5 days. Now, sometimes it will be clearly identified what you are beginning with. Sometimes it will not. It will not give you a starting point. I will show you how to handle both of those over the next few days. Okay? Then the other important thing is what information or conversions are you given that can help you? So again, if I ask you to convert 5 days into seconds, I'm probably not giving you anything more than that because what do you know? That could go from 5 days into seconds. What do you know? Seconds and days both measure what? Time. So how would you get from days to seconds? What would be a conversion you could use? Days to hours, hours to minutes, minutes to seconds, right? So you could use those. Now, here's the other thing. Anybody know how many seconds are in an hour? And that's perfectly fine. Some people know that there are 3,600 seconds in 1 hour. 60 seconds in a minute, 60 minutes in an hour. There are 3,600 seconds in 1 hour. If you know a conversion like that and you know that it is 100% correct, you can use that in place of 2 conversions somebody else might use. Okay? So when I write these problems and I design them, you may have a different conversion that you could use, and as long as it's an accurate conversion, you are welcome to use it. Okay? So here's where we go, ladies and gentlemen. This is the problem that is on the worksheet that we are looking at, the very first one. If a person's measured pulse rate is 72 heartbeats per minute, how many times does the heart beat in 5 minutes? Okay? So, when we look at this problem, ladies and gentlemen, all right, we are going to ask ourselves those questions that we talked about. Ultimately, what am I trying to find in this problem? What am I ultimately trying to find for an answer in this problem? What's our final unit going to be? No. Read the problem again. How many beats? So ultimately for this problem, ladies and gentlemen, we want to know how many beats. How many heartbeats, if you will. That is what we are trying to find. That is our final unit. Okay? So what do we begin with? What are we given that we should begin with? Well, that is a conversion factor. What actually do we begin with? What determines how many heartbeats you get? The 5 minutes. We are beginning with 5 minutes. And ultimately, we are going to try to find heartbeats. Now, the problem is, this is a unit of what? Time. What is the clear conversion between time and heartbeats? There isn't one. There isn't one. Time measures one thing, heartbeats measure another. There is no conversion that you could look up in a book for it. So now something needs to be given to you in the problem. And that is this, ladies and gentlemen. Heartbeats per minute. Okay? Heartbeats per minute. So we are given, okay, the info that we are given is this. There are 72 heartbeats per minute. When we see the word per, ladies and gentlemen, that means divided by. Okay? So this 72 heartbeats per minute could be written this way. But what it means is 72 heartbeats equals 1 minute, correct? Could I flip this over if I needed to? Yes. You remember how we said 1,000 millimeters equals 1 meter, and we could put the 1,000 on top, 1 meter on the bottom, or we could flip it? Same thing here. 72 heartbeats equals 1 minute. I could put 72 over 1 minute. I could put 1 minute over 72. It doesn't matter. My problem will determine how I'm going to use this. Okay? So, now we are going to begin with the number that we started out with, which we said was what? How much? What are we beginning with?
5 minutes.
5 minutes. So now I'm going to take and I'm going to use a conversion factor to get from minutes to heartbeats. That is this one right here, ladies and gentlemen. Now, I could do it this way, or I could do it this way. Either way, which way do I use it here?
72 heartbeats over a minute
Why?
because a minute is on the bottom.
Exactly. I'm just going to put HB for heartbeats. Put 1 minute on the bottom. Minute and minute now cancel out. What unit am I left with? What unit was I trying to get to? There you go. You've got this problem solved, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, so we take 5 times 72. 360 heartbeats. Questions? Now, there is one last thing you need to check in every problem. What is it? We've got our number. We've got our units. What is the one last thing that we need to check? Sig figs. We need to check sig figs. Okay? Now, technically, what mathematical operation are we doing here? Multiplication or division or which? Addition, subtraction, what are we doing here?
Multiplication.
Okay, so for multiplication and division, our rule is that our answer can have no more sig figs than the least number of sig figs in your measurements. Okay? How many sig figs in 72 heartbeats per minute? 2. How many sig figs in 5 minutes?
1.
So technically, how many can our answer have?
1.
Technically, our answer can only have 1. Okay? Technically, it can only have 1. Now, here's the one thing. How would we find this 72 heartbeats? What's the only way to get this number?
Measure your heart,
How? What do you actually do to find this number?
your pulse.
Would you do what to?
Which,
What instrument would you use to find that?
your hand, your
Okay, you're going to do your hand. And what are you going to do?
count how many.
So that is a counting number, correct? Counting numbers are infinitely significant. So this cannot limit our sig figs. This is a conversion factor. Should not even limit our sig figs. This is the number that could limit our sig figs. So what I should have done is put 5.00. Okay? By the way, you remember when we were doing multiplication, addition, subtraction, we said you could get all these different amounts of sig figs? I'll give you a little hint. After this unit, 90% of the time in a problem, put your answer in 3 sig figs. 90% of the time it will be correct. So that 360 that I have wouldn't be correct because it's only how many sig figs? 2. Right? So I would have to put a decimal after it if I was trying to get it into 3 sig figs. This number only has one though, so really what should 360 become to one sig fig?
100.
What?
Is it 4?
You got it. Sig figs. This is 400 heartbeats. Okay? So we will look at sig figs when we go through these problems. Here's what I'm going to tell you. There are going to be certain problems where you will not be able to find the sig figs. You will not. If you cannot find sig figs, put it in 3. Put it in 3 just as a general rule. Questions? Good. Let's look at the next one. The price of a gallon of gasoline is $3.19 per gallon. If your car averages about 24 miles per gallon, how far can you go on $10 worth of gasoline? Okay? How far can you go on $10 worth of gasoline? So, first of all, in this problem, give me either what we are given, what we begin with, what we end with, or give me some fact out of it. Ultimately, what are we trying to find? Okay, so in the end, we want a unit in miles. Correct? Make sense? Okay. So what's going to determine how far we get, ladies and gentlemen? You've got 3 numbers in there. You've got this $3.19. You got 24 miles to the gallon, and we have $10 worth of gas. So which one of those is a fact? Which one of those is what we begin with?
Do we begin with 24 miles per gallon?
No. That is one of our facts here. Okay? So 24 miles per gallon. Sorry. That's one of the facts that we're going to use to solve this. Okay? Again, there might be ways you could start with that because, again, we can do these problems differently, but that's a fact. Okay? So $3.19 per gallon. That is also a fact. $10 worth of gasoline. Does it say $10 is equal to something? So that, ladies and gentlemen, is what we're going to begin with. We are going to begin with that $10 because that $10 is going to determine how far we get by how much gasoline that we'll buy and how many miles per gallon. Now, again, there are multiple ways of doing this problem. This is just one of them. Okay? So we are going to begin with our $10. Now, which of these 2 conversions am I going to use? Number 1 or number 2? Which one am I going to use first? And why?
Number 2 because because it's in dollars.
Okay. If I want to get out of dollars and into miles, I've got to use something that has dollars in it, correct? All right. Where does the dollars have to go in this for me to cancel it? On the bottom. So on the bottom goes $3.19. On the top goes 1 gallon. Okay? We're out of the unit of dollars and we're into the unit of gallons. We want to be in miles though. So we're not done yet. Okay? What is the next step? How do we get out of miles? Or I'm sorry, out of gallons and into miles?
Put 1 gallon on the bottom and 24 miles on the top.
Put 1 gallon on the bottom, 24 miles on the top. Gallons and gallons cancel. We are left with miles. Now, how do we do this math? What do we do?
10 divided by 3.19 and then multiplied by 24 miles.
10 divided by 3.19 times 24. Somebody do the math and tell me what we get. Should be around 72, 73, somewhere in there. Anybody?
76.56.
Okay, that was a little low. Thank you. 76 point what?
56.
Okay. This is a conversion factor. This is a conversion factor. We never let conversion factors limit our sig figs. $10. How many sig figs in $10? Are the zeros significant? Think about it. $10. Yes? 4 sig figs, correct? How many sig figs is our answer in right now? You're done. You're done. Questions? If your car averages 32 miles per gallon, what is the mileage rate in kilometers per liter? Okay. So, question. Ultimately, what unit are we trying to get to here? Ultimately, what unit are we trying to find?
Kilometers or liters?
Kilometers per liter. That is ultimately what we are trying to find, correct? Okay. What do we begin with? Elsa, what do you think? 32 miles per gallon. Okay. So I have to get from miles into kilometers, and I have to get from gallons into liters. And they give you some information here. Okay. 1.61 kilometers equals 1 mile. 0.946 liters equals 1 quart. The problem is this is in what unit here? Here's liters, correct? But what unit is this? Anybody know how many gallons or how gallons and quarts are related? Anyone know how many quarts in a gallon?
4.
4 quarts equals 1 gallon. We have everything we need to complete this problem now. Now we are going to start with what we were given, 32 miles per gallon. Okay. So, what do you want to get rid of first? Miles or gallons? Finley, which one do you want to get rid of first? Miles or gallons? Okay. So I need a conversion factor that relates miles and kilometers. What am I going to use? Of these 3 over here, Finley, which one am I going to use?
1.61 kilometers and 1 mile.
Okay, so where does the 1.61 kilometers, where does 1 mile go in our problem?
So a mile goes on the bottom.
Good, mile goes on the bottom. We are still trying to cancel it. So if we stop right now, we would be in the units of kilometers per gallon, correct? Okay. Now here's where it gets a little bit tricky, ladies and gentlemen, because we've never done one like this before. I've gotten rid of miles and I'm in kilometers, but now I need to get rid of liters and get to gallons, okay? So two things. Number one, which of these two am I going to use here, Estefani? The 0.946 liters equals 1 quart or the 1 gallon equals 4 quarts? If I want to get rid of gallons. Okay. But where is gallons in this fraction? In this fraction, where is the unit of gallons? Okay. When miles was on the top here, the only way to cancel it out was it had to be on the bottom of this fraction, correct? But now I've got gallons on the bottom here. Where is gallons going to have to be in this fraction to cancel out? Where's it going to have to be? It's going to have to be on the top, ladies and gentlemen. It's going to have to be on the top. The only way that unit of gallons will cancel out is if it is on the top here. Now, I want to point out two things. Number one, units on top, units on bottom cancel. So units on the bottom, units on the top, they will cancel, correct? Do they have to be right next to each other to cancel? No. They just need to be on the bottom and on the top to cancel. Top first and bottom, bottom first and top. They will cancel. Okay? So we are going to cancel out the unit of gallons. We are now in the unit of kilometers per quart, but what unit did we want to be in? What was our final unit? Okay, so I need to make one more conversion factor to get rid of quarts. What is the relationship between liters and quarts, Albert? Equals, okay, so what goes where? What on the bottom? Okay, but if I put quart on the bottom, quart's on the bottom here, right? If they're both on the bottom, will they cancel? So where do you want quarts? So 1 quart has to go on top. This is still units canceling, ladies and gentlemen. So that means on the bottoms goes to 0.946 liters. Quarts and quarts cancel. What are the only units left in this problem right now? Abigail? What's the unit on top? What's the only unit we haven't crossed out that's on top? What's the only unit on the bottom that we haven't crossed off? That's the unit we're trying to get to. We are done. Now we still have to do the math. So 32 times 1.61. Now you get a choice. I don't care how you do this with your calculator, but you have to make one of two choices. Divided by 4, divided by 0.946. You can put it in your calculator that way. Or you can divide it by parenthesis 4 times 0.946. Close your parenthesis. I don't care which one you do, but you got to do one or the other. So when you do that, ladies and gentlemen, somebody tell me what we get, please. I understand that this is basic algebra.
0.425.
I don't think that's possible. Well, 4 times 0.946 is about 4, correct? So on the bottom is about 4. 32 divided by 4 is 8. 8 times 1.61 is 12 point something. So this cannot give us 0 point something as an answer. 32 times 1.61 divided by 4 divided by 0.496, then hit enter. What'd you get?
13.6.
13.61?
Mr. Brand, where's the 9 coming from?
0.946.
Oh, that's a 9?
Sorry, that's supposed to be a 9.
Do you want like all of the numbers? Or just
Okay, so let's stop. Good question. Do you want all the numbers? No, I don't. So let's go back. 32 miles per gallon. How many sig figs? 2. That's the only number I'm given. Right? These I don't worry about. These don't count. So give me that number in 2 sig figs. 13. There you go. There you go. So in sig figs, that's your number. 13. Questions? So, we have done the first 3 problems on here. Now it's your turn. Get with a partner, start working the next problems. You want to go in back and work at a lab station, a group of 2, 4, 8, 16, I don't care. You want to use the markers to write on the tables, I don't care, but ultimately should end up on here so you could see it. You want to work with somebody other than who you're sitting next to, I don't care. But ladies and gentlemen, go to work. And if you have questions, the easiest thing for you to do is to raise your hand and to call me over.